Madam slow. Madam Asisano pay Mwaba Ebenezer. Watch Mr. Ivan Pacho Waba and Tia Comanto Yam Ivan Bocodium. Yes, she has a near the co weekend in Tiani, a show weekend when I say a cossay.
Yeah. And then come here to wash it.
And yes, I'm Ketwa. Messia, I know about deliverance. They say around Mr. Jibinia, yes, and they
stress in the doors, stress, but to bend day, or I told him, said,
by the way,
I can't quite never die. So I think it's all good.
Yeah,
you know, that's the most important thing is that. A bit me idea here na Ghana near Mabakuya Mobia Watono, and I think that is what we are doing. Yamiad so everything is fine.
Okay. All right. Divine Koye.
I won't be complaining. Yamina Edana say one quiet think my things say Bibia and I'm no one so I bomb pie say Chidian Poyan coupon a bedroom and penny for na. Jumedi be a show Monsano, so because I am a all right, and now your topics no a door so in Mamma ya quote no. But your me dread the way no more fan to me we pay my babble. Issues no a door so and no a cabinet emergency meeting. Send a bayer will meet me a home first cocoa sector issues about no will meet me as solving tea and saying Yami Aduma. Send a yawada right and there. And finance minister ebe chere kwan ya ba ne be fa so a wo mo ebe solve problem but cabinet agent to say as soon as possible baby asika wo bia ye nkope na ye fa nkotua kokoakuafo eka enra ene nya na ntie se Kofi Nkansah na no ekoyi nika emwe okoka asem crofort tonton scholarship ene de keka ho ena president Mahama se sa de na se o evidence into beboa ya me ya hwehwemu enti wo mo ede ma NI before so wo mo kohwehwem na me se ye fra Kofi no wo se wo ne papa ya da hospital wo Kumasi mu ho ba bibi to mo enya no okohwe ne papa aba sa na ne lawyer kan yo nyam nam kan yo so wo mo fra no okoe na o tan ko ye se ne papa ya okohwe no de o mu hu ya na se yakomoa no ye no ade enkrofo ye niema ene no MPP for Cocoabod rompem wo NI bi se yi omunja Kofi Nkansah but no I say ko ni fie ene mo ko huhu ye no me say you and now were not there the aba bontin ye nyina ye ka bi documents omahu a scholarship secretariat documents as a former director general no ho and as a registrar no sensan ye de na ye wo Kofi Nkansah dem de say ye no kra ono na be kwa akochirim say no ye NEIP awia no anajo no ye scholarship secretariat so adwuma say nti na wotimi ka say scholarship ye ton nti ho asem e wo ho anopei ye be bobo hom na afi Dr. Mamudu Bawumi ase Ghana for say mo aje so obeda de ane mo bua ona ono wodim say ye de 2028 so oje power na oye president wo Ghana nti no anajo awia ba bia mo be hia no so oye adwuma den NDC acclare Baba Jamal to contest Awayaso is and afenso ye be hwem minority nkoma wo mudi edefa so am interchange ene my abino response wo de ama wo nti innocent yan starting from Awayaso east
the camera mention what here for na mention device so isi ya che
and then mama mo hia
ebonsa ho ebonsa ho
yes I think say there be ya nugu so aye kan we are not just speaking keke.
Yeah.
We are kasaseba ya democracy ne betimi advance it to a level comparatively ne betimi dey want to talk the most advanced countries among for sure as a beacon of democracy. There is no perfect democracy anywhere, but you see you must always have something in sight. Ebe try obetimi compare yourself to and betimi shape your perspective and how as we go about things. And I think that it is in that light and Ghana for over the years he has strived just to ensure that your democracy will gel in a very positive light. A bit also inspire other countries almost bit me be free. Over the years there are a creepy into our political system. This monetized culture, the culture of monetization are creepy deeper into your politics. And sadly way is so dangerous to the extent say I take it away individuals and ordinary, about the intellectual the might to be able to help us navigate the challenges here way our political space. But because these people don't have the financial muscle to be able to pay delegates and maybe bribe everybody around in you very often they shy away. The last time I had a conversation with a friend who is a professor and I was asking her, say, Prof, now didn't you know Makwatran China politics, I'm for running the show, I'm not in chain. I said, Sikana Mode, a copper MP, and as for no, Nakatu, a Kabum Kurana. Exactly. So that tells you, say, sitting on the sidelines, this is how they perceive, say, answer a bit by MP, and never rises to a certain leadership position. You might have paid your way through. And for me, that is very unfortunate. So over the years, your politics in your to walk away from that.
Yeah.
And then this thing happened. Your friend is saying Awayaso, and I think that it was very shameful, very embarrassing, and very despicable. I will be aware so much interested in the democracy and the progress. I am not sure that any normal person will seek to justify that sort of embarrassment that happened there. But you see, what happened wasn't an isolation. Happened before a week before we witnessed similar incident in the MPP. Kwabrani de lab say adu twim sika ni nyamae Brian Champon top up ni nyamae like really
I know we did like we so amonto
yes delegate ni so amonto aba because Brian Champon top up nyamae adu twim sika ayes or beto so nyamae and these things were captured on camera. So you see, sometimes we are very hypocritical in our approach. Yes, it's good. Baba Jamal issue has come. There have been instances of Kwabranishon bicycle in the MPP. Your friends, previous year election, no sir. Omocha my say on better buses. Ama constituency for the day na yashada akoyi buses as sunlight. These are all processes are inducing vote. And these are criminal practices in terms of your elections and as for them. But I think that over the years, you haven't taken any decisive action. I kept some of these things, and I buy something normal. And the now called delegate when our money is come to about mouth. And it's like a normal phenomenon, part of our politics. You seek to normalize it. And it will be your phone lines, too, me a man for a free. Obaka just say, na Baba Jamal Kwana yes, I didn't. You see, it's just a culture that has been normalized. It's a crime, but in their mind, a CDBR. So why will you single out somebody and penalize that particular person? And I think say you shall am free baby so you baby. And for me, what happened? You see. The Baba Jamal Awayaso incident is so despicable and very way up. And I'm sure say in the mind of the president or issue that statement. It wasn't about just a man for Eko Uradamu edit TV APA. A man for Eko Uradamu Dimoto APA. And we all saw it in Nasafono. But the interview that he granted, that was the last nail to the coffin. Because when you're president, after listening to that interview, I'll sack you. What I say? He could have avoided that particular interview. So I think that sometimes the political maturity is also very important because this is somebody who has been around for a very long time. Baba Jamal said MP, primary school. He has been around. So when it comes to experience, you should be that rich in experience. But to seek to justify, media no catch us say, who's a man for a TV say, oh, mecha dear dada. Na your friend say, mo be a dear in the mind, you are justifying. And we also admitting say you did it. It could happen say anyone aware be people around no be na here and anya won kwa na here. But the very moment you grant an interview in the full public glare and make such an admonition, the president, you put the president in a very tight corner. Because this is a president who has promised zero tolerance in terms of corruption. I try to curb some of these things. And in making such admonition in an interview, the president, even though has not conducted any, you find say preliminary investigation, because the principles of natural justice, answer about punishment will be you must first hear from the person. So ordinary, the president should have constituted a bit of an investigation to be able, but for you to conduct that particular interview, the president didn't need to do any preliminary way. Obviously, that words are our tie, I impugn the integrity of the establishment. And as a president, I have every right to base into a more say, I didn't think the president the president ain't because he granted an interview sought to justify, and on that basis, I impugn the credibility of governance. As a president, he was justified in his decision to call him. Then the party, I think that the NDC as a political party did very well. Because with their sharp response from your friend said the general secretary, what is the Fifi Kwete. I think he's doing well because you see sometimes you have to be very decisive and tendency set party back elections. Now such embarrassing thing will happen, and then the political party will issue a statement condemning even before and the opponent and other people issue statement. Then you have the majority caucus in parliament also issuing statement. These are statements of condemnation, condemning not in the opposite side of the political divide, their own party. For me, it's a boost. Me who's out there, and honestly, I was very happy because I think that we are gradually advancing. Yeah, bedroom baby. Because ordinarily, who am for so bicycle, I'm for so TV, a bit so fridge in them chrome. Now, Charles say, where the mammy. Apart from say commentators who sit on TV, seek to condemn some of these things, you will never hear a political party issue a statement and even asking, say, the whole election should be nullified. So I think, say, when you listen to some of these things, it gives you a certain impression, say, politics 2020. Politics 2024 is different from where we are because the political party NDC and the people around the presidency do admit, say, Ghanaians have become very conscious. They are tracking issues of politics. So where there is inaction, that will go against you. So you must always be in touch with the people. Whatever they expect you to do, you do and do it right. Yes, the party says they've cleared him then as a forum. Ordinary people would have expected a deeper investigation could have, extended to establish what the real facts are, and that is a bit of disappointment to a lot of people. And I think that disappointment is also justified because Sawaka say elections, over your investigation, thereby and stop Emma when your investigation, they may have their own reasons and as but I think that the starting point and how they've gone about it and how the presidency are dropping hammer because I was on Facebook and I wrote after the interview, the hammer must fall. I think that 30 minutes after that particular write-up, then the statement came out from the presidency. And I think that it was good because president needed, in here some investigation. Every amount for your friend is an interview na Papa Jamal grantee and nyadagina na tie nsem na all now bisa was said this person hold a very revered position or your ambassador all can nsem we sansem no if an ebeja abai because after that statement you cannot justify it. Senka one yes interview na say other people chair your friend is a moto
but obi an grantee interview
obi say oye way and that people the only way you can fit Matisa man for say I didn't think the president and punish you those people at this level even though they said but it remains an allegation because none of them has admitted and you cannot punish somebody abra wunyanti to only way to punish those people a investigation maybe abine by then you bring in those people so also chair moto also chair way but this is a clear admission somebody holding a higher position making a clear admission say when I'm a child the or say that's why I found that or my loans this is not a platform to be saying this thing now papa man for you understand so I think it was very nasty very 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 nasty and highly condemnable and I am happy say across the political divide obi who say sadie way condemnable but we should not also forget to say Nansanya the CCA it's all part of this because I'm for the line when I do Kim Sika my and when Sika my I'm for a chef free dinner so I think that the special prosecutor must be up and doing the reactionary approach in a very nauseating and semi by a man for a simian so at him many crow for a way and then I said for them Sanyama way the special prosecutor should have even acted fast even before the presidency and the party you understand but this knee-jerking reaction this reactionary approach abari a man for TSM I say an institution that is shopping attention sabia yen so mbebo ye din with him see ye bibi yeti kromai sa yenche moto yenche bicycle special akoso special prosecutor hana wa prosecute no kroma so institution ankasa wo lack credibility so I think that they should move from this sa fanfooling kind of approach where issues come in and they come in so that the media will capture them and then the end they go to sleep sa investigation omo na kwakosi say because if the NDC as a political party has decided say on to us as an entity political party they are entitled to that because any state entity even though it's a public kind of way but as a state entity that is the special prosecutor and I say NDC say on your investigation now wono go continue and do and then one mudi line so what did you do at the time because all back NDC there no free man for backlash then quickly he went back and said MPP so the who say MPP to about 1 week in here why didn't you act and notify the public. You see, so I think that the inaction is becoming too much, and I think that it's highly condemnable. And the president's decision is very decisive, and for me, if I were the president, after listening to that particular interview, I would have done the same too. So I think I commend the president for that decisive action and decision will take here. That is the kind of leadership we need going forward. You see, we don't need to take any prisoners. You see, and we don't. The mere fact I was sacking doesn't mean so I don't know personal beef. Maybe a president and I will even come to your house. Me no, you don't know my bedding come. We are not a pamo. It's as simple as that. No. You see, yeah, in governance, you don't create a meeting in a forum. Mesakiwa doesn't mean say. Your friend said that is the end of you because Baba Jamal is a very experienced politician who has been around, who has played quite diverse role in the NDC up to the election. He did a lot of stuff, you understand? So even though you sack the person, but you don't create that bad blood. I'll come to your home and I know matter follows with the agree. I'm going to hey, chacha, my palm will say, you can't do anything about it. It's as simple as that.
Divine, Awayaso East.
Yo, me that's it. I mean, chia wanga sabiu. I mean, chia Ivan Kyei. I mean, chia ashefo na eti for muti en canopy, especially mebusuafo a mo ewutu senior west omusi omusho pa se wonya we dia yi boja asefo ko ewutu breku senior ofanko bontrasefo na important mo no ayeresu ni de kan no nyina so mo hwe
e da o mase
omo feel fire na so omo say ma me no o tija rough ntino
de your mind
we asem we won me broso bebre Ivan Kyei nyina na unim saadie asiwo Awayaso East sa primary NDC primary CSC no ene de senia ehun wo camera so yehu videos a eto apete a yehu say inducement bi ekoso nkrofo bribe nkrofo ye niam omo betumi edia enya votes from delegates no. Let's not sit here and play the ostrich and pretend they say it has become part of us. It rather exposes young Ghana for Nankasa see the case study Baba Jamal headline but the truth is that as some way see the fufuro will be breaking news yes you asembia TV da now unim the I'm picking from the cultural and then attitudinal angle no yankasa Ghana for minim die eba ya kwa ba bedu sampempen so we yankasa ne boy ho abro ye ho se hwe die ya ba kopa ne say yesi e ko election sabi o hwe constitution ni mu a define nipa obetumi a contest sabi so bia we adwin wo ni trim obi a sound mind obi a sabi onim de also sabi like unim ya specify ni amano. So you ask yourselves about what it's about ideas, it's about the obetumi aye competence any de keka ho. Meanwhile no say ye kwakoto aba then you ask yourself say akwakwa say to the highest bidder the onu ni sikamu eduro no na ye di ahye ne nsa say wo abrantie wo na wutu adodo no a enti no wo no kone kodi ani men fa on results a ode be maye and sa adi we creepier brewier and utie delegates for no even across board just a presidential primary say when MPP mu esi any there esi ewo NDC die mu clearly no ade ba ko mo kan say ye de agi esika sisi because omokwa omo nkaye the truth is that minim ni po de share giant timemu for no say politician be the worker say okwa one on be fidi one opa okoko on to see when you go to places omo ye adwuma MPs CEOs politicians are ye create here ya any appointment ye hwi kra if you show kra obekwa ko gina nim wona nkrofo otwen and sadie na kwakwa eti say wodi muka mufa musika mra ye ji musika ye ji sika
ipa no so wan ma na eti say wutirimu
den won na edi pressure to nkrofo so na obi aze omo ntua ye ka so ama pressure aba beto Obiaso, Yankasa na yeto aba na omo so ayeto omo so aba na kasa no. Pressure aba beto Obiaso, but for me solution in here me. Say the political parties na kasa must come together. Must agree say no, I deal with this is not the way to go. And I sa adi abe kanka ya I councilors ya ededa yekom ya haye ye nyina ya agree say no, this is not the way to go, because if you go to other jurisdictions a man for no mom contribute to the politician contest because omo believe in ideas, but here no I had the other way around. Akwa say politician na say oba no ni obi bedi nkomo, and the kind of leaders are electing so reflective of kasa a man for no say ye niama. Sometimes you ask yourself say obu how to me obi pa ya to aban. There's one gentleman be no contested for assemblyman minimum na esiso a yenyiye mami minimum so oyobi a o on kanokre. He lacks integrity, no credibility, onye truthful, dishonest, very disingenuous individual. And obohonum unim se mi ankasa me to see me so ekọ area mu say no onye me tanfo me ntan, but sa position we akwa we nya boni odi bedi no me koye campaign atia no amanfo ni so asem na kan dey yeti me na delay at the SRC student level, and I know what this guy can do. Meanwhile, at the end of the day, you know, almost to Abama, no who is so. So you ask yourself, say, yeah, Kasagana for the Baby Doom Pepenswa. One, you need GDA, your institutions, you need GDA, our leadership, you need GDA, our anything, into every time you are in a categories, or be a categories, the right way, the any amano. Yeah. And now me no kase, They be asema me catch no be and say so konku to dwani na ko bompae. Na wo sre nyakopon sika hoden a. Sre sanso bi o say, ma woni state institution bia enya nkitahudie bia o.
Asemi na obebo shi.
Osi o ko ba bia akọ require services. Say police, say ministry, say government agency, say hospital. Yeah, because usika nkwa you are dead. Like what's some nim share, and this is here how say until recently now when the name say birth set is less than 30 cedis.
Oh, until
recently now when the name say sana passport to crown kwaje crown na ne bo e wo form. There are so many services I require in this country. Now call a agency no one now pay information you won't get. Say utia intercoqueti ankasa na na dia ye ho say etuatua no every point bia ntia ya ba beji ye ho atum say at every point no when tua won ko into etua ma we na we agiwe the corruption no ya ba beti ase me tell say at a point na me amabusuafo no me namfofo bi ebi obi timi hia me ye ko program or share me modest lifestyle na me yo na obi sa me say na nti wo de ko politics that day. They be say yeah. So they expect to say the moment I will enter in it, I will TV so and as at the end of the day they say we are sorted out. Also because there's something there. Meanwhile, that place is rather supposed to be a services a service. What I say, it's my set to them see you collectively. They condemn me because Baba Jamal dey way there. Onuna one manage issue ni because I think say I don't let me new point of say on proving if I chire wine say or no de no to me yet your pay. O share ukotie delegates for no crack or no and one person in the child you. Yeah. Almost hodo. But for him to come out, journalists they be out. After all, at least you can feign ignorance, you can pretend they say you don't know the course, but for you to come and face the bullet, now unjila ono say na heading. Now it means that Onwakasa is shooting himself in the foot. Into me, president in the core of the party, for me, some people have said say a hypocritical, like I say Katasumu, so I say party, the Omoye genuine. But the truth, the gesture itself, say the decision say Ombeba out crack to condemn. and then see and only one step you might take care me say na me kwan so and secondly o hwe kwan of us president so e condemn no Australia oba obi ehun say no this one enya de so e ye ni nyina na ya de a speaking into the mind of people say enema bi say na enya de a next time no bibia e de no kwhemu a e be fenti no I think say even going forward no e bet enema bebre so but no say sa de we nyina ye wo mra so e political parties act mo Act 2000. Political parties, even aspirants, audited account, sources of funds, they are supposed to declare sources of funding. But here, Obia to be called no Akwaji Akaida Zika. We call no Akwaji Somalia, no Akwaji we Obia Biso Bia. At the end of the day, Sika be a GDA campaign because I see a winning at all costs. It's media me say a pet next time will be only a pet topic. You best realize no near decide this as a country no. Yenya entity ho. Yen condemn corruption related nyama to say obi cheska wa ha, ye body wa ha, we ye say. Sana at the end of the day na cyclical. E kwa yenya na beba otua wa ha because MP no no aba be mouse can MP no ni pay say. Baba Jamal say mo kaso spend almost 2.5 million and they are we. Opa combine salary from and Onokrapo, or it's not like he said, there's Onokra 4 years. It's ever said 3 years. Oh, they're 1 year counts a salary of Beijing in our own D1 CD impo, on for being Fabia, and do Sasicano. And 2.5 million or cano. So, what is there? Pan or no more, and Baba Jamal Nagasato surprises me.
Yeah.
Because honestly, Pa say with this pedigree, any experience, you know, me minimum dentia or like minimum at the Oshishe because I quit here in an war. What did be? I deal with ya obey finching, I would jump pumping. I to say, do or die. It must happen at all costs. It's not as if say, even Pono buy we buy a crown, amount recognition. Yeah, recognize the one. At least have a position. At least I say retirement. Because you are home. Never hear you ma. The official parliament one or call or call Obenya on but we should all know say politics is about making sure some amount for assisting any of my brabo, any of my share, work as how do you go a bed bow. And yes, idea, they be a beco up and because me I hear people want to be say, oh, ye percent your casan, a percent on your money, be more common way sign say, oh, send your identical contest. I get people apart from that, crown, you need to be brain so almost but I'm telling you, say they will be knocked out eventually when they even show their head. You know why? Because Omunisika. Na kai say pala. Titi ya pa no krenka na no krepa say nye sika pa na edi hini na politics pa na esi ni chiase na egu na nimu asia na nka wontumi be regional chairman. Say ko be financier.
So incoming chairman.
Baby o na ko be financier. Even say when they were forming the UGC in 1947, if you look at the microphone and normal list in so no lawyers wo mu, merchants wo mu, business big men wo mu. Park Grant was actually the head. The biggest person and no waiting table DT. But I also just obey me the Ghana. So when Omwaka sample, Omkoyo meet Omotana and Omu say no, or Kunwe they will need an extra hand active or no baby. And then that's how come they invited Kwame Nkrumah into the scene. It say you always come by force na say who medal and as all do foreign. Those days, me Kaipa say me ni efika kana me papa. TV so Kufuor 2000 na presidential appointees bini omo ministers for ne omo aban mu na papa tibika chem se hwe sankrofo emu hwe bra omabo na won so fa sua de na be yet say omo itina o hwe omo a nkrofo a omo osuahunu for instance GH Mensa ogina parliament na okasa na oye ne niam akra na hu say yes Kwame Pienim Omunyina ye nkrofo a not those days you look at them but these days you know anaka first who a financier o dey no say obeko support you obi na bibia wa akire no ye di hu nkomo akire but you see a financiers for no so atiasi mu
amoso opere
sabi ombo na makra no a osi waba monto abama no at the end of the day no so nipa no bu wan so awini and it's hurts that sometimes kra no ube imagine obi also or a political person na osi oye obi MP obi a osi oye figure see the history of this country is onim shi onim abakos just onim shi ni tis come sabi ni tiu Only need in common and only need I can clearly tell that this guy is not a smart person. But to be sure, no sounds to do any because or no, and now the same will be. Okwaka say a friend is saying, Sebi, Sika, Obi and one more Sika Wajimi, but a yes answer the Sika channel, Esanka, Obi Abenyabi. Intimate the mechanic say, Yenina, as I say, condemn me, a culture. Baba Jamal ni NDC for a condemn you, but I'm saying say I deal with the little opportunity no ye be nti ye hwa de a be fa so a ye be sign one ka sign ho yare.
All right, and I thought I said I paid 150 cedis for my birth certificate in 2008, but still I didn't get it. Sorry for you. All right, Ebenezer say yeah, great Ivan for me. Ivan wahadada Ebenezer open man so pretenkete pa. All right, you know say Kyei Cocoabod and na was say emergency cabinet meeting ekoso and na cabinet decided say ekwan bia was say finance minister faso ni nyesika e di etua no say wahu olabalo miracle akoko kwafumu ni kokwa afọ ko di nkomo a kire o say aban no na ntirimo oden one person betua around the abechire the side of the story e ho eyi na ekoso okoko sector we say.
Yeah, I think it's very important. There be a politics and leadership governance, you know, must always focus on the pressing needs of majority of the people. Cocoa over the years has been the backbone of Ghana economy until recent times, and other sectors have emerged, try to compete. But from Titi Basin there, Adiaba quiet may reap a lot of dividends from it. Cocoa and cocoa farmers have been very, play quite a crucial role. Our multi so my baby has say so anything affected the farmer. No, I think that must capture the priority of the president and the government, and it's the reason why I think that the president issued a directive. Yesterday there was an emergency cabinet section focusing on the challenges. And I hope we'll be able to find a lasting solution able to address these challenges and navigate But yeah, if you stretch the conversation a little bit, now be say Cocoabod. An institution that Jumane say Ghana cocoa ye dua nyina na yen konkoto na yen konkoton na yen fa sika no bi emetu akuafo no ka na yen so yen fa bi more mine ho bra no ebeba ne sen and that institution will quickly transform from your friend is saying profit making entity into a sort of debt producing machine, because Cocoabod is one a debt machine they see her a car and they produce you, and for me it's very embarrassing. And no now but decisions are caused in recent times kwabrane a body team at the institution now, because we live in a country where punitive sanctions need those kind of way, you are relegated to the background. So anybody I'll be your opportunity to be in power and things I can just do anything and get away with it. MPP have listened to a lot of the guys in there. Farming areas, farmers are seeking to incite them say but that is not what the situation is. The fact of the matter is Cocoabod na nkasa ya bureka gusu and some of the kwanya e kana e fa so buy no what mind boggling, you understand? And sometimes I blame the current Cocoabod you see, whenever you inherit an entity or we are trying to say and a situation like this let the people know. I can't just say governance and yabosom. So what's your sam so wa so because one problem, but I think I will try to tell people the state and nobody will take you serious. You understand? I sat here some time ago and attempted to open some of the way to do, because that is what you need to governance and open it up, let people know the state of because John Mahama promised to pay cocoa farmers 70% of the FOB price, and indeed he paid. But the only unfortunate thing is dollar no nam set tiba for mintino the money and as a farmers of Monsakano they couldn't. Because that is the exchange rate problem. And wasn't the president, but the promise that he made, he said, over to your cocoa farmers 70% of the FOB price, he kept that particular promise. But I'm saying that dollar, no, aswati aba for mintino. Cocoa farmers, you can't say komunya around 6,000, they couldn't get because of the exchange rate. And it is a lie for LB. Better be aka say promise no make you the promise has been and dollar no swati aba for no. Cocoa farmer no sika kese there, but are compensating the other side. And I look at the economy and I try to stabilize, and it's a woje sika na wanya, even though said that now we expect to say because no one yana it will compensate for these things but kwabrane sha chire and now to go among for say sika no almost on 70,000 sa 70,000 the whole FOB price no sa ban tam ni nyina the ma farmers kwa enu say enu 7,000 because of the exchange rate. So it is highly hypocritical. And again, answer na ban be kono na sa jute sack na se for no ya de a big report to clear ko munyan clear kwabrani sign contract e ko pia bebrebe gum some of the sack na ye be hia no maybe in the next 5-6 we kwa no yen
15 years old
exactly but kwabrani tena sign contract Cocoabod no de kam e bo amodin e ko sign sa contract no e ko to baaye I know that they are money number, and today they are emboldened to be doing press conference. And again, 2016, John Mahama Baba Kono.
Yeah.
Not Cocoa near to miss strive to a point. Eka Krabi, Eka 2016. You fancy 1 million metric tons of cocoa.
Yeah.
2024, I buy no Bacono. Not cocoa syndicated loaner, Yakwakwaji. Say they Baba to cocoa. Not Yakwakuti Ayakano. Syndicated loan, na yadeka. It got to a point even cocoa we had to collateralize it. Yakosikam, Sabaya Ibenya Sika. Cocoabod, this your friend is saying, the documents I had a cocoa loan, come friend is saying, the credit worthiness. And now so, am I a cocoa loan? It was 0. You could not go out there because cocoa and our cocoa went to Yaka over 390 something thousand metric tons of cocoa. You need to pay in the next year. And the funny aspect of it is that next year now Ubetiano say cocoa price in the cost of now you are not going to sell at the current price because Nippon in the car in the last year, so you are going to use the last year price and just such an entity never that. So these are the factual realities to me and pay attention to. Over the years, the financing model of Cocoabod, I've always criticized it. It doesn't make sense. Sa cocoa syndicate ya kwaji bafuna insi ho ya ba beto cocoa ni kwa kutia. So when the MPP in 2022 make that declaration, so free na kono syndicated loan yan kwaji biem, they created an impression say or other financing model be a sustainable pay. Not knowing say a Ghana Cocoabod books, were so dirty to the sense that and the credit ratings of Ghana at the time, there wasn't any single entity from Ghana. Because you demonstrated say so we lost that particular chance to go to your friend saying for that cocoa syndicated loan. And the papa so I'm making it look like government has a certain financing model be ever. And then in the mua a buying change. There need to be a definite discussion as to what financing model will be appropriate for us because early stages are John Mahama taking over now the economy said that so you cannot make and start any conversation to go for any loan at the time because mine and Kasakwana fena over here near mama near my ye and son what thinking about loan. So the option of going for those loans, now then the Cocoabod will have to fall on other people who are ready to provide their money for you to buy the cocoa, then ukotonwa. Not your friends say who said the BCI but private person or not in the sika amount that money and like a friend guarantee other sources of winning the amount and you no scan or the amount or share the prevailing your friends a market price and did a promise of farmers he doesn't care because he's a business person you understand and sikana buy a what the top price Robert say and then cocoa no swati before I buy a take over, I buy take over early stages, now it was around 5,000 metric tons, $5,000 per ton, dollar per ton, and then I dip it almost by $100,000, about 4,000, 4,000, what you can set it price, price, on the previous 5,000. Cocoa farm, and you cannot go to a cocoa farm and tell them matter price, so that can never happen in this country because it will be politically suicidal. So a buyer will have to find any other alternative aside reducing the cocoa price because the very moment you go say that is suicidal, you know say politically it is very dangerous to make that decision. And the question is how do you come up with a way the financing gap will be addressed. And this is the challenge. In some of my country, when you know, say, and yet deliberate say, obiti Cocoabod and that, Randy Aben, what take certain reckless decision, Nadia Babedu and that. Systemic, Nemana Boa, no Babedu, and catch up with us. So going forward, I think what we need to discuss is the appropriate financing model. Either say a domestic or external. Now you're making sure, say, Cocoabod, say, any very secure source of funding going forward. This is how we want to do it. And again, omo ena wo mo so ma saa niema we nyina sisi ye no cannot just walk free and ye ba saa de ya say omo ena ye da because people sat our ECG did the same thing okay cables na se for no every na ebini nam sawam ni na se for no kwan ye fa so ye oman no sometimes what in China as a young person now wo hear the rate the kwan niema fa so kwa you feel so embarrassed and ask yourself say enti oman way obiti baby or dwen oman no ho because you can't be doing these things abani a lose power and yen sign contract yen to niema and the sad aspect is say saa niema ni nya meduru ekwa na yatua nipa ni nyina aka dada because ye why hwe no wan ju sika ombo mo fa ma so oman cannot be running on this particular line. So for me I think that it's sad that this thing Cocoabod is going through this way, but I think that now that the president has taken keen interest in it, I hope that we'll be able to navigate our way through. Now, sir, and some now Kofona mi nkurase omutu ntrogu cocoa farmers assume say obi na akoboka na obi na yese no obi ya yese no nnokra bi anim nipo mo di Cocoabod eka edwim ni na sefo the same person because entity no you hand it over to them no now it has a positive we have say equity about the sign I will hand it over no then you are run over about 2.something billion in terms of negative equity and the same person today have the moral audacity running from farmers telling them say abandon afa musika sika be na abandon fa when they are privy to the prevailing way your friend is saying the market and again and I'm say over the years yenye niema yenti no cocoa na ye produce any Cote d'Ivoire no we are not the people who even determine the price. Isn't it shameful ye produce a raw material no and yeah because we are unable to add value. Nipa no ko add value no we determine the price. It doesn't make sense. So we must also be looking at value addition. Kwa ebe fa so cocoa no you better turn it into a finished product. So you send your product now, and then there is a price tag. You want to better inside, but also one raw now the car on the decoy BB or on the factory. So on the bed determine price and amount. So we must also be looking at some of these things. Cocoabod the car to the sense that now one of the entities is CMB or one of the cocoa marketing way. Now you're torn a Japan your body don't come in because PBC. Yes. Emma Brandt be card na happy with it. Ya power man that
was last week.
Yes, the gentleman. And these jokers today are out there making loud noise about Cocoabod. Yeah, PBC no. Yes, son and near man a car and as a phone be good way and I auction because a car no the entity agu. Cocoabod the same thing. You
could be sad Dr. Baubia will meet the press or also on your way say Cocoabod you go.
Oh yo. So yeah, these are the factual realities. So I think government should find a way. Yade abayemawa nya fe na wo be blame. I understand. Say you don't need to be blamed, but I think the story must also be told. Sabe ya manfo be hu de ekoso because these people are out there deceiving farmers and telling them say sika na obi kura ka say esan komoma mo 60 million. How is it possible? The FOB price at the time and the cost require 5,000. 5,000 no convert here saying how can you pay way? But the fact is that dollar na swate the bank kept its promise by making sure that the 70% of the FOB price will be paid, but dollar depreciation it has gone to the other side. You understand?
So dollar no so depreciating side and
that is the level of intellectual dishonesty slot into our politics. Some of these guys because I'm one of the negative politics. Yan say nipa and they are the best when it comes to some of these things. But the things they are accusing people of, almost setting the board emotion, everything that has happened since when everybody cocoa a buying will have to pre-finance. You have say kofa cocoa, kwa kutiaka, jessica, what you do and you did all these things in the it's funny.
Mete Osha rollover contractor we Cocoabod and Nkasah document kwa mfa so nya de me kwa namnim. O se total rollover contract of 333,768 metric tons worth at 2,661 per ton. Into total delivered 235,395 metric tons using 2024-2025 production purchase at producer price of $3,100 per ton. Yes, I don't know. So
you see, said there is a financing gap now.
There's a financing gap. So you say, $103 million. Send a bet me a gap na
yes, and And my culture says price in water so is not an option.
Yeah.
So it means that is why the president has come in. You need to find a way.
Yeah,
because
to go and look for money.
Yes, a cost will benefit here, but from so you should. So that is how. But I think that Cocoabod now structurally, we need to just set it up properly.
Yeah.
And some of the institutional laxity, is high. I think there must be certain stringent measures.
Conditions of service so your power.
Oh, Nanka, I want to say to a big way that. Yeah, I think that you see, state-owned enterprises over the years, and there are two teams. They are not entities. They run a profit. But can we say they are entities? They are running for a loss. So most of them have become debt-producing machines. I don't know about my car. Bank of Ghana, for the first time, over 60 billion. What to be that? ECG Airboka. Your friend saying almost all the entities Airboka. But these are people who are paid well. CEO, he's paid even better than the president and MPs. Your friends are fact allowances, but they are all running debt. Yes, we can understand that some of the rule, but we cannot always be accepting. No. But comes to that human indiscretions and those kind of stuff.
Divine. Cocoabod assembly.
When him Cocoabod assembly, I assemble here, and when you put it, if you put it into a historical perspective, we say cocoa for Cocoabod in some nyadia obe to me atune jejemu and also obe handle no e bia la keke because we check here history fiti Kwame Nkrumah pencil even pre-colonial times any post besinda who say your budget and your GDP ni bibia no we acquire for cocoa contribution from your economy never crashing and that's a big collapse.
Sure.
Contribution no very very significant relegate you.
Yeah.
And it had to say acquire for no only year contract. Do you know say almost can ye training say co school.
Yeah.
Na fa onim de no be manage ye na no ma adwe na we ache no say co school. Na fa onim de no ebra ebeboa na ye manage ye. Ye mum no de akọ school no ye nyansa na ye nyaye no ye mum ye de wi omo ye de bomb kro no e mismanage omo and that's quite unfair. She Cocoabod literally practically like crumbling on its knees out to say how challenges. Why? How did we get here?
Yeah.
It's because say nipa sheda bonitrimu pose placing the interest of the ordinary farmer no. E was so e no mo ankasa because how come say ekayefo no omo ko efuom omo ko nwuram ekodo e de eniaye ba na oman no timi di kwaje bosia o e wo mudin mu omo suma mu yoba mo kra mo de kwaje hu sika e je ho faso na eba now see who to me nyom sika e fa mom it's because of how I manage institution no hwe ukokai Auditor General's report 2023 dia ya wo mun say unim say administrative overhead costs nkwa ebro the entire sika no mu tua cocoa farmers foka na what breakdown one you can see say crofo just wicked say omo call for monitoring no hwe omo call monitoring say o your take mu no aba wafuom na yesi o ye behwe na ye hwe say o ko hwe budgeter ya assign ya omo de call rounder more than half of producers for can cause that particular unit office ni pay monitoring me wa na yesi ye sika enfentua. Even when there was an embargo placed on recruitment, say no, your budget no, I tight. Until at this point, no, my recruitment, me say. That was when last minute.
Yes, and it's true. Quickly, I think that there's overstaffed Cocoabod and now workers number over 100,000.
Yeah, and somebody was saying, he was met with say, okay, you
you're packing it.
Yeah, you're packing, and I said, okay, you'll be this. Yes.
Payroll so crampa ye nimba fie ni office mom ye ni baby mom ye ni baby adwuma mo ye and ye recruit and it's cut across na Ivan Kyei she scholarship secretariat
yeah
e ka mo gina to and na me no ka say say omanga na hia suahunu bi wo advanced artificial intelligence man bi muntino we need to go and expand UK ya de ka UK amasisi yi yentumi empa microphone ko bi. How did we get here? In 2022-2023 the Minister of Finance wrote to the Secretary Scholarship Secretary said no pause Sankrofo na mo position mo ni nyina no yen hwe how a ye be reconcile in financial yi na make sure say omu sikasam ni ebetua biansa unim say da sorry ye no kwabra ni 2024 no kra na ya ma no warning kra no 2023 e ho kra no sa so ni nipa e ko kumu na dia ya ni say okwabra ni ani oba atwempena nimpuna oni oba na twi keke ni nti no obekọ no oba na busua ni nyina line ni nyina obi agu UK enya scholarship and it's not even based on merits. Sadi we cut across me dear umbonemi kokofo no. I'm not going to say me buying enya aduana say ebia bebia state na buying ehunu ho a I to say why handicap quite handicapped no may sympathize with buying but me there I'm on the side of the farmers. The farmers no na me there me ni omo urging because ekokokokoko ba ye didi no mo akomo de omo what I say ya ba bro ya na sankofo ne tete ho ya ba bro ya na sankofo ne to hwe ECG. Could you imagine say okabrani o minimagi o nipa ne trim na o say or procure stationery stationery or procure in advance of 30 years.
Yes, niama no obode ba no
photocopy paper wa 30 years
wa madam
paper to say photocopy paper any niama ya de be say no order aba begu honum da no tie rande abi jute sacks ya order containers ya to be clear ya san so order etua in advance no kwabda na kofie akoda na yere nchen ani yete hande na yesi kokofo no yenya abotre momu obi ani obenya abotre why we must find money as say ye di kotuo mo ka no say dem sika mo but abai so to me mba no me hwe han and be ka say oh ye tua sika we are going to find money somewhere until ye tua we omo di sa abone no no makokoda. Auditor General's report 2023 biwa sika ye lusu ye through malpractice, corruption and corruption related it was a tune of 25 billion. When him say emu 18.5 is a energy sector and ECG pay. Energy sector 18.5 billion. Now bisa won say eba ne sen nipa na omo running under no mo kwanda no onu say or engage in what your friend CSR corporate social responsibility akọ onu no ti ontumi ntua ene your friends independent power producers ka ontumi ntua osimesika ontumi ye hwe no onu so akokoto motor bikes more than 1,000 because I say order who's a Ghana problem in procurement and akoto motor bikes say the kwakoma institution. So no ye corporate social responsibility yanka se eto untuaka and all this thing nyina esika sinking into individual pockets. Why are they still there? Imagine say obeko ECG se asa okokoto credit wa okita osika obedu esi network ni so ye will be contract every month bi as etua ne ka now still the person is still holding on nipa na so na esa so manage the same contract you see there be meanwhile no okwa services na yes provide them amount for no any ho
na na no nam ha na meter nyansa ye nya hwe kwabrane award meter ye tutu
replace
yes because ya contract
me see Ghana problem no procurement and unim say ya ma sebi nkofa dwen nya adwuma da no madam bi ka kire me teacher ni bi o upper west ot honum and what letter ko ECG say omo roof eliki omo hie nsuo omo hie washroom ne yi omo tra omo sanka omo honum a ya the next more than 400 ababegu ono bi say
na konya ram de
na konya de omo de no say o ya order from ministry ne de abana mudinka ono so ono request for hwe omo say o njia na ejagu awia ne mu because ya the contractor mo bi say ko bobo dex na pabegu onum na yentua o kind when people don't even need it into who say Ghana say obi pretend say odwin na oye bibi kakra na it say bi obenya film but when it comes and benefit you mo no mama dwen no abo ayi I say adwin fia bo mutrim hwa bibi o kai say ayi nkrofo bi e share that by say obo ba be support in health sector abcc cheap compounds ni ayi na that time no President John Dramani Mama first term no ma sign a contract be esenka abanda da no continue minister ne buy no unu say because ye buyer you see ye man kickback ye man hwe bia menu omo ye ya na omo si o yes eba eno kra ka ma bibi ye sake no all because na o push age omo ko find out no okọ ye say okọ cabinet meeting ko for ne to no mo si o zango for project ne de mi wa ko for no mo sika ba bia be from the start mo ya ba hwe itino ye boy e ho abra say ye be gin dia solve nkofo problem a ye di anim dia adwe ne nya adwuma na ke tra say hwe okuye ni ye si cocoa contract cocoa road is lego ye cocoa ho it is a cocoa ni a onu kwafo mu we all know how roads near deplorable now say there be unkosi hospital unkosi health facility mom unyo kwan yie oba be si cocoa clinic ewo North Kaneshi meanwhile no mo call for ma owo ka omo snake serum no you freezy because one freezy say o dia ba betu kolebu ne ko bisa say nipa he no owo ka omo e de omo ba ho 37 they call mo bush meanwhile bush mo na say you have to think about the farmers and their interests no you careless it no me say sometimes how are we try say your boy and one boy treat you ho near boy and wo kro no me dey me say last time you know I was on the observer mission of South Africa in their elections and one of my colleagues from Congo on me jina no catch him say sometimes boy and one bro because I say politician you can still solve the problem and eat and still let your children attend the best schools or say you will drive the best car and still solve the problem. How come say because me I don't know how I
agree
it's possible say like me ebu anko for dem ne jami so manage we mami was you construct obu a osi dan was you divine obetimi abo am ne yesi hwe edan ni keke na me hwe na me monitor say yesi o me kwa haba no me fa hwe but me akasa so me sorted in the process you also we minister unya sorted who award the contract who make sure say contract no unya hwe now make sure say wa award the we nye kickback crowd eje but make sure say ade no they are solve na mu dem giwi a na makọ akoda say ye nyina ye fa no enkope mu bo how do you treat the state like that me Cocoabod problem no I am emotional sentimental about it because people suffer ye bre and as you see you know ya nye careful black gold na ye keka na you see you won't say black gold na cocoa na cocoa e so your economy na se no. When you give people options, people will go for other avenues. And what or mine? For instance, you see a young name gold. Gold meaning maybe if you say see how baby out to yabi. Now for best starters or maybe experiment. And unfortunately for us as a country team, see, let's not pretend. I always say they say any policy be national policy be for especially the youth in future no. You need addressing what we call the shortfall artisanship mu it told them say see no because of a certain culture see young people are more no on pay juma on pay kiayo on pay apprenticeship on pay
quick money
bibia quick because our orientation na dey mam emrantia ne nkola no at the basic level no say it see obi aye quick na nke ba ne say na see hairdresser etumi tena on mo no achiro apprentice needed with salary apprentice yes also if apprentice and the salary ka ho that's why we are going they see ahwe unim say we see die obekọ site say 10 people na on 9 nkrofo mo fi neighboring countries Ghana ni ba because mebu no empe eniema sua omo mpe sa no nyuma ope fast and then no na cost sector ni mu na yempanyifo no ko hwe the average age na ye nkrofo mo wa twayo mu no I'm telling you say in the next 20 years more than 70% any one man how many be replace you.
That's it, a big question. All right, well the question kese pa na divine ato mu no nyame ne yembo afo ye hwe Kofi Nkansah eno ye wo say people ko NIB so ana friend say bi na mamka bi na wa ne no na and I'm releasing no more for search on fee who say almost some scholarship documents former director be assigned there I don't know so
I think the gentleman knew what he was saying when he was on the platform because nipa na now hosting no abochi minim from Techiman, very experienced journalist, and so we kwan ya fast so okwiri no platform no so maybe a man for nyam her video no he took almost about 5 minutes questioning him a man can say enti say ya fra umpo a
obetimi
Emma, he insisted, say yes, our evidence, because to sit on such a platform and you need smaller platform, baby, because of social media. Now, Okwajetum say yes, minim na ya ton na MPP for kwa na ya ton bi, NDC by ya ton bi. That is a very grave defense allegation to make, because already, you know, my batana had the documents of about 700 pages. Abeguha about the was say, yeah, Chrono course was scholarship secretariat. A car eguho asisi ameno ka say ya ban here from UK omo ban Ghana from Canada and other way you can send students a car eguho ya run short courses at the mamam for no mo yire ni omo pananom ebo a car obi ko UK ko di 4 days for yourself friend top up program and I say yeah short course 4 days
4 days
you me per day
na because see ono kosua de ni sabi o ni yire anani kunwe tumi nya kwan ene ni mbu atopenti esi e mani kuna alawa for time ani
ya makwabrane scholarship
wo yini mo
ya makwabrane scholarship ne ya fa ne yere ne maba e 4 de akire na ya kwa oman na se atua ne yere ne man stipend abra ne ma bi sua de na kwabrane na no ya fa nsai odi ne yere achi a ommo bra bia ono ya atua ne stipend no Asian throw letter abra scholarship secretary say me ma me awu your friends say Ghana nti no me pese mu ntwa take it ma me hoban me mfa mbra me hwe me ma me na mu nsantua ma me na scholar sika bunti and then we pay for all this nonsense and already no Ghana for you very incised about name akoso your friends say scholarship secretariat na no say investigation koso dada and for you to be boldly on TV to say yeah turn scholarship. And you see, people should look at the interview, how the journalist asked him several questions. I managed to say, indeed, this guy, or you'll be a CEO of the VIP. Exactly. Ordinary, you know, or so to make such categorical allegations, he knew that definitely he will be called. Yefrewa, one hour alleged. And you need to lead evidence to justify, say, indeed, kwaku tombi, abana tombi, bansam na okano. You see, na onim the oka and no correct because scholarship were being sold. On one because the records in the scholarship secretary, my country say there is a guy of free UK say or Ghana. Nimianom yet on scholarship mom when I'm so back and forth fake documents and so forth. You're buying the boys in almost 10 years and they cannot travel to UK. And there are a number of people because of that scholarship scandals now air cost because they were using it to do visa racketeering. Yeah, facilitating visa amount. Omunko school no they too kwan. So these criminal things na cost no. Kojo for soon cancer the why no. Oh yeah, where is the reason why according to sources ya call ne dem no. Scholarship award letters egu ni dem. Ya van saying and no objection egu ni dem no objection say Ghana dini sika man say kusua de wie no. We are no actual letter aba say mentimi maba Ghana na be pesa me ka ho nti no am objecting
yeah, to return to even come and serve. No, say the stipend na waka mu no so no. O just asu ntia fa ma no.
Yeah. So it's a fact, it's a scholarship secretary and some na brand time can nyina no kra. And omu nyina it was business and omo run. So say what yeah, probably be provide you further details. And what can you should be ready to provide those details. You understand? So this drama around MPP na yakojirani ya say.
You say the lawyer can say a political arrest.
A political arrest na asem no kwatena radio so camera me kan share na no. So we nim nyansa na me kwatena radio so akoka asansem we you should be able to provide evidence. You understand? Yes, sometimes the excesses of our security agencies wherever here na yatam nipa na ye ne ko secret locations and man dey nsebunu an kan twa na me boa. What tam nipa na wo de ne kwa de ba bia at least the lawyer should be in the know. What I say? Baby e ba bedru win timi nchi nipa mfa no kwa baby. Ya hwehwe na ye hunu no sa ansem hunu de say atwa so but the fact of the matter na say niema na kwa na kan no nsema he has to provide evidence. I bet me because state already providing your fans investigation. And the wo nsema watimi aka sa ansem mo yo say enne nyina cost obi ton scholarship. Sasa for je ton scholarship the one that my catch say UK na o kan no under NDC nobody has been awarded scholarship to go to UK. So in some na o kan no what kind of side we because that admission came from his side. He needed to do that force equivalent. Say, I'm for Bajatum say, Omoton Obisu Tombi. But that is not the reality. Last year, Nipo Munya scholarship travel outside Ghana were less than 20. Because a car a guhono, and yaka to have an within the panoko. What I say? So I think that scholarship, we know the purpose of coming from the bed and near to because purpose in say the emerging field that Ghana yen said need personnel or yen form outside or more just said in the no farmer boy and yes I TBM. I'm for your humanities, I'm for sorrow law through your first scholarship secretariat. Okay courses I'm for a year. Sometimes what's here na bofuno. And some of these scholarships cannot stipend and cannot bet me at training over there 10 people. I will Legon. Then I said for that boy. So for me, I think that this scholarship, foreign scholarship, we need to restrict it strictly to specific, like this robotics, Internet of Things, AI, those new emerging fields. That is, you cannot give Obi scholarships on quite law. One thing you can't give Obi so on quite humanities and other way. When those things, faculties, we can train those individuals here. So I think that is a lesson for us. Some whereby they came to destroy almost everything. Minimum one sector, and suffer, and Akufuado. And now, besides, leadership for Kroma say, Kwabrane turning the scholarship secretariat, into some kind of a profiteering enterprise. And on it to run a scheme, and then quickly, I got in Parliament. What I say, and nobody is even questioning anybody. I think that states, need to sharpen the accountability, your fans are driving, so that will be brought to justice. And yes, I am quite a I understand investigation is going on, and it's good the president swiftly responded because over the years, but for the president to hear something on social media to quickly request say investigation should be conducted, a chance that we are also moving somewhere. You understand? So I think some of these things, in as much as the excesses of the security agencies, as if we might want people to question it, it is in that light to say, as he should be able to provide enough evidence about the investigation. And truly, and some they're not speaking. And some documents in his house justifying say whatever going on in the scholarship secretariat, now he was part of it. The reason why he has been able to tell you details. So such a person becomes a person of interest in the ongoing criminal inquiry. So he should be able to provide us details as to how it happened. Quite how fast was scholarship award letter be good in them. Kwanya, you have saying no objection be good in them. Any other way, charter, I want the phone, so any other conversation, he should be able to provide those details so that it will help government in its quest to unravel the sort of puzzle now also our scholarship secretariat. So for me, I think that yes, everybody has the right to speak the way or free. So yes, security agencies and yes, but it cannot rob the main issue on the stage because the journalist asked him almost 7 times, and he admitted, said, "Yes, I can prove. Yes, I can prove. Yes, I can prove." Now, when I be prove, I when out of
we put them on the tell. The only say on him. Sabi you say nya kwenya na better na TV so microphone we anymore. Ade say to me di kan catch there won say ade na ye kan no ye kan no kore. Ebe bo nipa. Yeah. Ana senyansa wom. On say mate say nkofo ka say senia ebia abaya go about handling the issue I arrest no ye detaining no de keka wonyina no high handed approacher ebia nka abaya nka so yi nani. No. You see, for me, I believe say when you get the chance, say it as it is, but make sure say you are saying the truth. The fact is say opportunity excel be kasane che say unya asemo enim no aka de gu nyonko fi o katu mu aji so no waka but we are saying so a na say undi no kure o ba ye yes scholarship secretariat asem o do say si obo ka say minim me we evidence bet me approve go and prove it. I to say it as see na asem bia bana oh me pese me nka asem bi mfa gu hu fi akekwa bra me minim sa asem na me kan me ni evidence